Today we discussed about the second chapter of +2 portion biology, that is human reproduction. If you like this class, please like, share and subscribe. We can passing through the textbook. First we need to introduce some terms, that is viviparous, oviparous and ovoviviparous. What is the term viviparous? Animals give birth to young one is known as viviparous. Give birth to their young ones. Oviparous means animals laying egg. Then the third term ovoviviparous. In this case, eggs are fertilized inside the female body. Then the fertilized eggs are laid. Next, there are different stages of human reproduction. In this first page, we can discuss about different stages of human reproduction. First stage, gametogenesis. Second, insemination. Third, fertilization. Then implantation, gestation and parturition. First stage, gametogenesis. Here, male and female gametes, that is male gamete, sperm and egg gamete. Egg is the female gamete that is formed inside the body of male and female part. Male and female gamete formation, that is egg and sperm. Egg and sperm formation. Second stage, insemination. Transfer of sperms, that is male gamete into the female genital tract. Transfer of sperms into the female genital tract is known as insemination. Next step, fertilization. Here, fusion of female and male gametes leading to zygote formation. The gametes are usually haploid, with half number of chromosomes. Then after fertilization, egg and sperm fused together to form diploid zygote. Fusion of male and female gametes to form zygote. Next step, implantation. Implantation is the next step. Here, zygote change to next multicellular structure, that is blastocyst. Blastocyst move from fallopian tube of uterus and attach to the uterine wall, that is known as implantation. Zygote change to next multicellular structure. Zygote is a single cell. Zygote change to next multicellular structure, that is known as blastocyst. This blastocyst move from fallopian tube to the uterus and attach to the uterine wall. Fifth stage, gestation. That is embryo development. Last stage, parturition. Parturition means delivery of the baby. These are the 6 stages of human reproduction. First, gametogenesis. Second, insemination. Then fertilization, implantation, gestation period, and then parturition. Next topic, the male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. These are the pictures of male reproductive system. We can passing through the different stages. Next, male reproductive system. Here we can see the different parts of male reproductive system. That include the scrotal sac, the external reproductive part, then lots of other parts. Seminal vesicle, urinary bladder, vas deferens, prostate glands, penis, urethra, glands, penis, foreskin, ejaculatory duct, scrotum, bulbourethral gland. Here is another picture, a detailed picture of male reproductive part. Here each testis has about, there are 2 testes. This is the picture of single testis. Each testis has about 250 testicular lobes. There are 250 testicular lobes are seen in each testis. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. This is the picture of seminiferous tubule. In each lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules where sperms are produced. Sperms are the male gamete. Then two types of cells. Spermatogonia cells, that is male germ cells, and Sertoli cells are seen in this region. The seminiferous tubules linked with two types of cells. That is spermatogonia. Spermatogonia, that is male germ cells. And second, Sertoli cells. Another parts are ratty testis, tubulae rectae. This is the tubulae rectae. This is seminiferous tubules. In between these lobules there is a part is known as tunica albuginea. This is the portion is known as tunica albuginea. This is vas deferens. This is base of epididymis. Vas efferentia. This is vas efferentia. Epididymis. This is the head part of epididymis. This is the passage of urethra. Again, testicular lobules, ratty testis, tubulae recti, seminiferous tubules. These are tunica albuginea. This is vas deferens, base of epididymis, vas efferentia, head of epididymis. This is the passage to the urethra. The external genitalia. This is the external genitalia of male. Include penis and foreskin. This is penis and this is the foreskin. There are male accessory glands are also included with the male reproductive organ, that is seminal vesicles, prostate and bulbourethral glands. Seminal vesicles and a prostate and a paired bulbourethral glands. Next part, the female reproductive system. This is the picture of female reproductive system. We can include the accessory glands of male reproductive system at first, that is accessory glands and its functions. First, this is the male part. First, seminal vesicles. Its function: storage of sperms, produce seminal fluid which is nourishing the sperms. Store sperms, produce seminal fluid which nourish the developing sperms. Next, accessory gland, prostate gland. Function: produce alkaline fluid, keep the sperms alive. Produce alkaline fluid. Keep the sperms alive. Only in alkaline medium sperms are alive, otherwise they become disintegrate or degrade. Third accessory gland of male reproductive system, Cowper's gland. Cowper's gland. It is also known as bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland. Function: produce viscous fluid. Produce viscous fluid. There are three main male reproductive system with accessory glands. The accessory glands include seminal vesicles, prostate gland and Cowper's gland. Then next part, the female reproductive system. This is the picture of female reproductive system. There are pair of ovaries. There are pair of ovaries and pairs of oviductus, uterus, cervix, external genitalia, here is the external genitalia, and a pair of mammary glands. Pair of mammary glands. The female reproductive system include pair of ovaries, uterus, cervix, external genitalia and pair of mammary glands. Ovary covered by a thin epithelium that encloses ovarian stroma. Ovarian stroma divided into two zones. This is the ovary. Here is a covering, is known as ovarian stroma. Stroma divided into two zones, that is outer cortex and inner medulla. Outer cortex and inner medulla. Then female accessory ductus. There are mainly three ductus. Two fallopian tubes, uterus and vagina. Female accessory ductus, fallopian tubes, the oviduct, fallopian tube, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory ductus. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter long. The part enclosed the ovary is the funnel-shaped infundibulum. The edges of infundibulum is known as fimbriae, which helps in collection of ovum that release from the ovary. This infundibulum leads to the wider part, that is the ambula. This is the ambula. The last part of the oviduct is isthmus. It is narrow in structure, that leads to uterus. The uterus is single. It is also known as womb. It is inverted pear in shape. The cavity of cervix called cervical canal. Cervical canal. The wall of uterus has three layers. There are three layers. Perimetrium, the outermost perimetrium, middle mesometrium and inner endometrium. Outer perimetrium, middle mesometrium and myometrium and granular endometrium. There are some external genitalia that include mons, pubis, labia, majora and minora, hymen and clitoris. These are the external genitalial parts: mons, pubis, labia, majora and minora, hymen and clitoris. The next reproductive part is mammary glands. That's also known as breast. Each breast consists of Each breast consists of 15 to 20 mammary lobes. 15 to 20 mammary lobes which contain clusters of alveoli cells. Alveoli secrete milk which stores in the lumen. It is the area lumen. Alveoli open into mammary tubules. Mammary duct. Then several mammary ducts join to form wider ampulla. Then the lactiferous duct. The parts include each breast consists of 15 to 20 lobes which contain clusters of alveoli. These are alveoli. The functions of alveoli is secreting milk. Which stores in the lumen, the empty area, that is lumen. Alveoli open into mammary lobules. Then ductus to wider ampulla. Then the last lactiferous duct. Here we can each and every parts. Next, gametogenesis. There are two types of gametogenesis, male and female gametogenesis. Gametogenesis means gamete formation. First, we discussed about male gametogenesis, that is known as spermatogenesis. First, male gametogenesis, that is gamete formation, is known as spermatogenesis. This is the diagrammatic sectional view of seminiferous tubule enlarged, the basic part. At puberty time, that is the starting time of adolescence, the spermatogonia cells, that is the diploid part, the spermatogonia cells present inside the seminiferous tubule. Here these are the seminiferous tubules. Again, this is the seminiferous tubule. The diploid spermatogonia cells. Gonia cells, that is usually diploid to a number of chromosomes. It divides drastically that is undergo usual mitotic division, simple division. Primary spermatocytes are formed. Cytes means cells. Spermatocytes are formed. First meiotic division, that is meiosis 1 reduction division, undergoes spermatocytes to form secondary spermatocyte cells, that is haploid. First meiotic division. It is a reduction division. The meiosis first. There are two main steps in meiotic division: meiosis first and meiosis second. The first meiotic division is usually the reduction division that occurs in primary spermatocytes. In primary spermatocytes, first meiotic division, that is the reduction division, take place to form haploid secondary spermatocytes. To form secondary spermatocytes. They are haploid. Reduction division take place here. Then second meiotic division, that is meiosis 2, occurs in secondary spermatocyte cells. The meiosis 2 is like a typical mitosis to form spermatids, that is also haploid. Here secondary or second meiotic division. Division occur in secondary spermatocytes. This is meiosis 2, like typical mitosis. To form spermatids. Spermatids, that is haploid. Cell differentiation occur in spermatids to form spermatozoa. Differentiation take place in spermatocytes to form spermatova. That is also haploid. Then the last part, spermatogenesis. Then the process of spermatogenesis took place in spermatozoa cells and form complete matured sperms. Spermiogenesis. This is the last step. Matured sperms are formed. This is the diagrammatic representation of male gametogenesis. First, male gametogenesis, the spermatogonial cells that seen in seminiferous tubules. The cells, spermatogonial cells seen in seminiferous tubules. Drastic mitotic division, that is usual cell division, occur in spermatogonial cells to form primary spermatocytes. That is also diploid. Then first meiotic division, that is the reduction division, took place in primary spermatocytes to form haploid secondary spermatocytes, that is haploid. Then secondary meiotic division, that is meiosis 2, occur in secondary spermatocytes to form haploid spermatids. After cell differentiation, the spermatocytes become turned to spermatozoa, that is also haploid. Last step, spermiogenesis occurs in spermatozoa to form haploid sperms. This is the male gamete. Then we discussed about the structure of a typical sperm. There are mainly three parts: head, neck and tail part. It is movable. It have the capability of movement. Here the tip of the head portion contains acrosomes. It is a version of lysosome, the cell organelle lysosome, that is destructive or breaking in function with strong enzymes. Then the head with nucleus, chromosome materials, nucleus with chromosome material. Then neck portion is the middle piece. There are numerous mitochondria are seen. The function of the cell organelle mitochondria is giving energy, supplying energy for the movement of the sperms. Then the tail portion. This is the structure of matured sperms. Next term, semen. What is semen? Semen is a mixture of seminal plasma and sperms. It is a mixture of seminal plasma and sperms. The next topic, female gametogenesis. Next topic, female gametogenesis. That is also known as oogenesis. Next topic, female gametogenesis. That is the gamete formation, egg formation. Egg is the female gamete. This is also known as oogenesis. There are different steps in this process. First, oogenesis initiated during embryonic stage. What is embryo? After fertilization, diploid zygotes are formed in the womb, in the fallopian tube. Then zygote undergo multiple mitotic division to form morula stage. Then blastula, then gastrula, embryo, fetus, young ones. The first step, oogenesis, initiated during the embryonic stage of development. Couple of million gamete mother cells, that is 2 million gamete mother cells or oogonia are formed in each ovary. This is the structure of ovary. Here, couple of million gamete mother cells diploid, that is also known as oogonia cells, are formed in each ovary. There are 2 ovaries. This is the one ovary. No more oogonia or gamete mother cells formed or added after birth. Oogenesis initiated during embryonic stage of development. Couple of million gamete mother cells or oogonia are formed in each ovary. No more oogonia are formed or added after birth. In fetus, prophase first of meiosis. Meiosis or reduction division. How? There are different stages. Meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Meiosis 2 is typical mitosis. Meiosis 1 undergo prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. Prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1. In this prophase 1 with different stages. Leptotene, zygote, packetine, diplotene and diakinesis. This prophase first of meiosis 1. That is the main step of reduction division or meiosis take place and temporarily arrested at that stage. That is these cells called primary oocytes. The first step, oogonia cells formed in ovary. Here, that is in fetus, the prophase first of meiotic division take place. Prophase first of meiosis or reduction division take place and temporarily arrested at that stage in fetus. There is no further development. That is these cells called primary oocytes form primary oocytes. Second stage or second step, then each primary oocyte surrounded by a layer of granulosa cells, then called primary follicles. Each primary oocyte surrounded by a layer of granular cells. Granulosa cells, then called primary follicles. Third step, number of follicles degenerates. Number of primary follicles are degenerate before puberty. Up to 60 to 80,000 primary follicles with primary oocytes are left in each ovary. Up to 60 to 80,000 primary follicles with primary oocytes are left in each ovary. Then the child is born. The child is born with the primary follicles. Primary follicles. Then before puberty, that is 10 to 14 age group, most of the primary oocyte cells are or primary follicles are degenerate. The child is born with primary follicles. Next, then more layers of granulosa cells and a new theca are called secondary follicles. More layers of granulosa cells added, that is theca, are called secondary follicles. Next stage, at the time of puberty, secondary follicles transform into a tertiary follicle, which is characterized by a fluid-filled cavity called antrum. At the time of puberty, secondary follicles transform into tertiary follicle, which is characterized by a fluid-filled cavity called antrum. The fluid-filled cavity is known as antrum. Then next stage, the theca layer is organized into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. The theca layer is organized into inner theca interna and outer theca externa. Now the meiosis one stage complete. The various steps of meiosis first completes. These are the steps of prophase 1. That is, now the meiosis 1 stage, that is complete meiosis 1. Now stages completes. It is important that the products of meiosis 1 is one polar body and one secondary oocyte. It is unequal division. Here we can see these steps. The product of meiosis first are one polar body and one secondary oocyte. It is an unequal division. The polar body may degenerate. In some cases, this divide or perished, but there is no importance in this oogenesis. Polar body, there is no importance. One secondary oocyte is formed. That is also haploid. The products of meiosis first are one polar body and one secondary oocyte. It is perished. The polar body may or may not be divided or perished. There is no importance at all. What is tertiary follicle? What is tertiary follicle? The secondary follicle with appearance of antrum called tertiary follicle. Secondary follicle with appearance of antrum called tertiary follicle. In next step, the tertiary follicle further change into mature follicle. This tertiary follicle further change into mature follicle. That is also known as Graafian follicle. That is also known as Graafian follicle. The secondary oocyte forms a new membrane called zona pellucida. Further change into to produce a new membrane. To produce a new membrane called zona pellucida. What are the stages? It is important. The product of meiosis one is one polar body and one secondary oocyte. It is unequal division. Polar body degenerate and secondary oocyte is exist. The secondary follicle with the appearance of antrum called tertiary follicle. The tertiary follicle further change into mature follicle or Graafian follicle. The secondary oocyte or tertiary with a new membrane called zona pellucida. At the time of ovulation, what is ovulation? The release of ovum from the ovary is known as ovulation. At the time of ovulation, Graafian follicle rupture and release secondary oocyte. At the time of ovulation, Graafian follicles ruptured and release secondary oocyte. Then the meiosis 2 complete, that is a typical meiosis occur in secondary oocyte and form secondary polar body plus ovum. This is the last step. The meiosis 2 complete, that is typical meiosis occur in secondary oocyte and form secondary polar body plus ovum. To form secondary oocyte then form secondary polar body plus ovum. These occur at the time of fertilization. This step only occur at the time of fertilization. What is fertilization? The fusion of male and female gamete that occur in fallopian tube of female reproductive organ. That is fertilization. This last step only occur at the time of fertilization. Ovum formation and this is ovum formation and fertilization, that is fusion of gametes, male and female gamete take place simultaneously at same time. That is very important. This last step occur at the time of fertilization. Here the oogenesis is completed at the time of fertilization. The ovum formation and fertilization take place simultaneously. Ovum formation and fertilization take place simultaneously at same time. So the oogenesis start from the embryonic stage and last at the time of fertilization. It is a continuous process. Next topic, the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. This is the female gametogenesis, this is the male gametogenesis. After one spermatogenesis, 4 sperms are produced, but after completion of oogenesis, only single secondary oocyte formed. At any step, polar bodies degenerate. After one spermatogenesis, 4 sperms are formed. After one oogenesis, only single secondary oocyte or ovum produced. Next topic, menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. This is the pictorial representation of or dramatic representation of various events during menstrual cycle. The productive cycle in the female primates. In the classification, the primates include monkeys, apes, gibbons, human beings, etc. is called menstrual cycle. The reproductive cycle in female primates is known as menstrual cycle. There are different stages occur in this process. This is the pictorial representation of menstrual cycle. Here mainly 4 steps covered. First, menstrual flow. Second, follicular phase. Third, ovulatory phase. And fourth, luteal phase. Menstrual cycle. There are mainly 4 stages or steps. First, menstrual flow occurs at least for 3 to 5 days. Breakdown of endometrial lining of uterus, that is the innermost glandular layer of uterus. Blood vessels and fluids coming out through vagina is known as menstrual flow. The breakdown of endometrial lining of uterus, blood vessels and fluids coming out through vagina is known as menstrual flow. Flow not occur when fertilization take place. If fertilization take place, this flow not occurs. In some cases like stress and poor health also stop this flow. The first stage, menstrual flow stage. The second stage, follicular phase. Follicular phase. That is proliferative phase. Follicular phase. Here, primary follicles in the ovary grow to become fully matured Graafian follicle, and simultaneously endometrium of uterus regenerate through proliferation or cells get multiplication. In case of follicular phase, primary follicles in the ovary grow into fully matured Graafian follicles that we discussed, and simultaneously endometrium of uterus regenerates through proliferation. Proliferation means cells get multiplied. Third step, ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase. The gonadotropins. Gonadotropins means reproductive related hormones. The gonadotropins, that is LH and FSH. LH means luteinizing hormone and FSH follicle stimulating hormones stimulate follicular development as well as secretion of estrogen, a feminine hormone. In this ovulatory phase, the gonadotropins that is sex hormones like luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone stimulates follicular development. As well as secretion of another hormone, estrogen. As well as secretion of another female hormone, estrogen. There are different types of estrogens. In the middle of the cycle, that is 14th day of menstrual cycle, that is the middle of the cycle, called LH surge. What is LH surge? Rapid secretion of luteinizing hormone. Ruptures Graafian follicle and ovulation take place. Middle of menstrual cycle, that is 14th day, called LH surge, luteinizing hormone surge, LH surge, the rapid secretion stage of LH, rapid secretion of LH. Rupture the Graafian follicle and ovulation. take place. The release of ovum from ovary is known as ovulation. The fourth stage or step is luteal phase. Luteal phase. The remaining part of Graafian follicle transform as corpus luteum. Corpus luteum secretes large amount of hormone progesterone, which is essential for maintenance of endometrium. This is also necessary for implantation if fertilization take place. In luteinizing phase, the remaining part of Graafian follicle transform as or change to form as corpus luteum. Corpus luteum secretes large amount of hormone progesterone. Corpus luteum release or secrete large amount of hormone progesterone. Which is essential for maintenance of endometrium of uterine wall. This is necessary for implantation if fertilization take place. Endometrium is the innermost layer of ovary. This hormone progesterone essential for maintenance of endometrium. Endometrium, and it is necessary for that is progesterone is necessary for implantation if fertilization take place. What is implantation? It is one of the steps that we earlier mentioned. Implantation is the fixing of developing embryo on the wall layer of ovary is known as implantation. In the absence of fertilization, if fertilization not occurs, corpus luteum degenerate. This causes disintegration of the endometrium leading to menstruation. There are two possibilities. This is the first possibility. In second, in the absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates or perished, leading to menstruation. Then the last part, what is menarche and menopause? What is menarche and menopause. Here is menarche. Then here is menopause. Menarche is the starting of the menstrual cycle in the life cycle of a female, and the term menopause means the stoppage of this menstrual cycle. It occurs in between 50 to 52 years old. It occurs between 10 to 14 years. Now complete the steps. Next stage, fertilization and implantation. Next stage. Here, fertilization and implantation. This is the typical diagrammatic sketch of the stages of fertilization. This is the male gamete and this is the female gamete. The fusion of gametes, that is egg and sperm, take place at a ambulary region is known as fertilization. What is ambular? This is the part of ambula. It is a part of fallopian tube. Here the fertilization take place. The sperms coming from this part and egg from this part. Here in this ambula, the fertilization or fusion of male and female gametes took place. Fertilization only occur if ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously to the ambulary region. That is important. The fertilization only occur if ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously, that is the same time, to the ambulary region. A sperm come in contact with the zona pellucida, a layer of ovum, induced changes in the membrane that block the entry of additional sperms. Only single sperm nucleus is fused with the nucleus of egg. A sperm come in contact with the zona pellucida layer of ovum. This layer induce certain changes in the membrane and block the entry of additional sperms that enter into the egg nucleus. The secretion of acrosome of male gamete, this is the part. The secretion of acrosome, that is lysosome, help the sperm entry into the cytoplasm of the ovum. This induces or promote the completion of meiotic division of the secondary oocyte. Here the division is unequal and result second polar nuclei and ovum ooted. At the time of fertilization, this induced that is this stage, that is the sperm enter or contact with the egg nucleus. There is some chemical changes occur. These chemical changes induce the completion of meiotic division of secondary oocyte of female. Here the division is unequal and result secondary polar body and ovum. This last stage only occur at the time of fertilization, that is fusion of male and female gamete. The last stage of oogenesis and fertilization take place at the same time. That is very important. There are some chemical changes occur. These changes induce the completion of meiotic division or secondary oocyte. Here the division is unequal. Here one secondary polar body and ovum or ootid is formed. Soon the haploid nucleus of sperm fuse with the haploid nucleus of ovum to produce diploid zygote. Next part, the sex of baby determined by father, not mother. The sex of the baby determined by father, that is important, not mother. Why? The sex of the baby is determined by father, not mother. If we cross female, that is egg, female crossed with male. Here the female eggs, that is gametes, are only one kind, that is all egg cells with X chromosome. The sex chromosome, X chromosome, is only seen in females. But there is two chances. The sperms may with X chromosome or may with Y chromosome. X are only one kind, but the possibilities of two kinds of sperms. The sperms with X chromosome, that is a sex chromosome, and Y sex chromosome. If the egg fuse with sperm of X chromosome, then here egg fuse with sperm with Y chromosome. Here same pattern. The possibility of female child, here is male child. All X or egg cells are with X chromosomes, but sperms may have with X chromosome or may have with Y chromosome. The sperms fuse with egg cell. The sperm with X chromosome fuse with egg cell to form females, and the sperms with Y sex chromosome fuse with any of egg cell to form male children. So possibility 50-50. So father is determined the sex of the baby. Then the next part, the development of embryo from zygote to fetus. First step, the diploid zygote undergo mitotic division to start to form morula stage, then blastula. Mitotic division, that is usual division. Mitotic division starts as the zygote move through the isthmus of the oviduct and cleavage form for 8 and 16 daughter cells called blastomers. This is the stage zygote. This is the 16-celled morula stage. Mitotic division took place in zygote to form 2 diploid cell, 4 diploid cell, 8 diploid cells and 16 diploid cells. This 16 diploid cell condition is known as morula stage. Celled stage. The zygote move from ambula to the isthmus portion. This is the narrow isthmus portion. Here the morula stage completes. Then next stage is blastomer stage. Blastomer stage. Here the cells of morula become arranged in 2 layers. Here a cavity is formed on the center. These cells are known as blastomers or blastocyst. Outer tropoblast and inner cell mass. This is the inner cell mass and outer layer with tropoblastus. The morula then change into blastula. A hollow cavity is formed here on the center and cells are arranged in 2 layers. The outer layer is known as cells with tropoblastus and inner cell mass. The tropoblast layer then gets attached to endometrium of the uterus. The tropoblast layer, the outermost layer, then get attached to the endometrium of the uterus, then differentiated into embryo. Next stage, embryo. Zygote formation took place in ambula stage. Then the morula stage occur in isthmus portion and embryo attached on the inner wall layer of uterus and start to develop. The attachment of tropoblast on the inner wall of uterus is known as implantation. This leads to pregnancy. Next topic, pregnancy and embryonic development. Next topic, pregnancy and embryonic development. After implantation, fingerless projections appear on trophoblast layer called chorionic villi. This is the trophoblast layer of blastoma. After implantation, that is fixing on the uterine wall, finger-shaped projections appear on trophoblast is called chorionic villi. Which are surrounded by uterine tissue and maternal gland. The chorionic villi are surrounded by uterine tissue and maternal blood. Placenta formed from these tissues that connect fetus and maternal body. Umbilical cord developed from placenta to fetus. Placenta supply oxygen and nutrients to the fetus or developing body and receive carbon dioxide and excretory wastes from the fetus. This is the placental villi. This is the cavity of uterus and this is the developing embryo. This is the umbilical cord that attach the embryo to the placental part. This is the placenta. Here blood vessels and nerves are arranged in bulk amount. From the womb area of the embryo, the umbilical cord connects the embryo with the placenta. Here the exchange of materials take place. Oxygen and nutrients given to the embryo and waste from the embryo, that is like carbon dioxide and excretory wastes, lead to maternal blood. Placenta produce several hormones. Placenta produce several hormones. First, human chorionic gonadotropin. Human chorionic gonadotropin. That is HCG. Second, human placental lactogen. Human placental lactogen, HPL. Third, estrogens. Fourth, progesterone or progestogens. Progesterone or progestogens. Here is another hormone, that is relaxin. That is only produced at the last time of pregnancy. That is fifth one, only produced at the last time of pregnancy. Ovary produce hormone relaxin. That is important. At last time of pregnancy, ovary produce the hormone relaxin. Then during pregnancy time, the level of other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. are in increased several folds in maternal blood. All this helps for metabolic changes in mother and pregnancy condition. There are some other changes also occurs during pregnancy time. The levels of other hormones like estrogens, there are different types of estrogens, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. like hormones are increased in several folds in maternal blood. All these hormonal changes helps for metabolic changes in mother and pregnancy. What is metabolism? Altogether, chemical changes that occur in the cell is known as metabolism. Next topic, embryo development. Embryo development. Immediately after implantation, that is a fixation on the uterine wall, the inner cell mass of embryo. This is the inner cell mass of embryo. Differentiate into an outer layer called ectoderm, inner layer endoderm, and middle mesoderm. This stage is known as gastrula. Organs are formed from these three layers. After implantation, the blastula change into gastrula, blastula to gastrula stage. Here, the inner cell mass of blastula, the inner cell mass of blastula, that is embryonic layer, change into three or differentiate into three portions. Outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. From this layer, organs are formed. Here, three layers of cell are formed. This is the cavity. This is the inner layer, endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. The inner cell mass contain stem cells. These layers contain stem cells. What is stem cell? Stem cells are particular cells, have the capability of differentiation. So, different organs are formed from these stem cells that included in these three layers. Stem cells have the potency to give rise to all tissues and organs. Next, pregnancy period and gestation period. Next topic, pregnancy period or gestation period. The gestation period of human or pregnancy period of human is 9 months. In case of cats, 65 days. In case of African elephant, it varies. It is 22 months. In case of Asian elephants, it varies from 80 to 22 months. Then we consider human case. First trimester in human. First trimester or 12 weeks, major organs are developed. In second trimester, that is 24 weeks, body hair, eyelid separate and eyelashes developed. Body hair, eyelids separates, and eyelashes produced or formed. End of 9th month, full developed baby ready for delivery. Full development occurs. Next topic, parturition and lactation. Parturition and lactation is the last part of this lesson. Last part, parturition and lactation. Childbirth called parturition. Childbirth is also known as parturition. The maternal pituitary that situated in brain produce oxytocin. The hormone oxytocin helps for fetal ejection reflex. Oxytocin helps for contraction of uterine wall and helps for parturition. Then placenta also expelled at the time of childbirth. The pituitary gland of brain produce hormone oxytocin that helps for fetal ejection reflex. It helps for produce fetal ejection reflex. Oxytocin helps for contraction of uterine wall. Placenta also expelled. Towards the end of the pregnancy, start milk production. Start milk production from mammary glands or breast. Colostrum is the first milk. Colostrum is the first milk with immense amount of immunoglobulin A. It gives innate immunity to the child.